German, means child shoe.
Okay, so
It's
it's a
Kindschuh.
German name.
It's
Kindschuh.
German,
Okay.
and kind means child, like kindergarten, and shoe means shoe.
Okay.
Once you know that, it's a little bit easier to pronounce it Kindschuh.
Yes, yes, that's
I-
definitely. So well, thank you, Debbie
Thank you.
Kindschuh, for being with
Uh-huh.
us today.
Uh-huh.
For those of you that don't know, but probably everybody does, Debbie won the Best Missouri Hands Professional Development Grant this year. She's splitting it, part of it with another artist who was also awarded part of the funds. And she has used the funds to create a dark room, I guess. So she's going to explain that more, but she is a juried Best Missouri Hands photographer. And thank you for being with us today, Debbie. And we look forward to learning from you about what you did with the funds and how things are going. So
Well,
I'll let
great.
you
Well,
take it away if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
sure. So I just want to, this is not one of my photos on the page. Can you all see the page? Well, I just captured that the other night when I was trying to find something that was kind of defined what I enjoy doing, and I do enjoy kayaking. Let's see if I can go to the next page. Oops. Okay, so the title of my proposal was called The Biographical Portraits in Black and White Film. And the reason I wanted to do this, I'll just take a moment and read this, and then I'll talk, pretty much on my own. But I believe that biographical portraits are powerful tools to not only tell the story of a subject, but to artistically capture their soul. Now, that's kind of bold to say that, but as a photographer, you must set your camera down, which is unusual because usually photographers always have their camera in their hand or on their shoulder. But to take a true biographical portrait, you just have to set it down for a moment, get to know your subject, listen to them speak, and then feel their passion. And then you must carefully create a composition that will tell the who and the why of your subject, and only then click the camera. It's best to work slowly and thoughtfully. And the reason I wanted to do this particular one was because, well, you'll find out later as I talk a little bit about my history. I had reached a moment where I just needed to slow down just a little bit. I was feeling extremely overwhelmed with the digital world, and I just needed to slow down. So this is best achieved using a film camera where every shot is carefully executed. In my medium format camera that I purchased, you'll see a picture of it. I can only get 10 shots on a roll of film, which is quite expensive. And so the black and white film reduces the distractions. It helps the viewer focus on the face and hands of the subject. And so I really wanted to spend this past year photographing heritage artists of Missouri and capturing them to create their art with my own art of black and white photography. I think that was an extremely optimistic goal. I did not realize what I had put myself up to. So thus begins the comedy of errors. I thought I knew what I was doing because in college, I worked in the darkroom, but it turns out I did not realize how difficult and how expensive this was going to be. So there's me in my darkroom going, I did not know what I was getting into, seriously. So a little bit about my background kind of explains why I'm here. Ever since I was in high school and in college and throughout my whole career, I had such a passion for photography. I was always the one that had the camera in your face and try and get different angles. And people would be saying, oh my gosh, would you stop it? Just enjoy the moment. But I always had my camera on me because I really wanted to capture the excitement of what was happening in that moment. And then as my husband and I began to travel the world, wow, I just had to capture the beauty. I thought if I didn't, it wouldn't exist, And then as my life got more exciting, I wanted to capture all those moments through videography. But the simple equipment that I had up until the till 2002, actually, I just had one camera. And I didn't have a darkroom, and I didn't have a computer to process everything. I just had one camera, got my film developed, got my pictures, and then I had fun with the results. And it was just all analog. It was not digital yet. And I really, really found that I love doing that. Well, there came a turning point in my career in 2002 when I was honored with a trip to Japan. It was through the Fulbright Memorial Teachers Fund program. And the purpose of that was the Fulbright organization was paying back America for allowing them to take Japanese students into our country since World War II, since Senator Fulbright started that whole program. So in the early 2000s, they offered teachers, 2 teachers from each state was selected to go to Japan on a 3-week fully paid for trip. And we learned about their culture. We learned about their educational system. It was a 3-week most amazing trip in my life. I was 48 at that time. I had never traveled internationally, but it was always something I wanted to do in my life. Well, that trip changed my career, and it also changed my personal life because I met my husband there. He's not Japanese, he's German, but he also was a teacher there. And so in my career, I learned that I could use photojournalism let me go back. I learned that I could use photojournalism to impact others. And as I experienced things through life, I would photograph it and then I would use it in an educational way. Like we had a huge experienced Japanese night in my school, and the community came. We had over 500 people there. And I was surprised that little old me, could do something to open the world to other people. So that to me was like, wow, a big moment. And that's when I realized I couldn't do it with film. I had to do it with digital. So that was a big learning curve for me, was to teach myself digital. And I had a lot of mind blocks. I didn't want to go there, but I knew I had to. And it was a different way to wire my brain to think of pixels instead of film. It was really difficult for me, but I learned it. And I learned Instagram, I learned social media, I learned all the Adobe, Lightroom and Photoshop and all of those programs that we really have to use to get to where we wanted to go. But it was very difficult for me, but I felt like I learned a lot. So with the knowledge of those programs and with my digital, I was able to form some more community events where other people were impacted by my videography or my films or my talking or whatever. And then I, in turn, was able to experience other people's knowledge. And it was for the past, what would that be, 16, 18 years, I was just thrilled, 20 years actually, wow. I was just thrilled in what I was learning through other people and through community. And also, as my husband and I traveled the world, we were with students, like we were part of the German-American Partnership Program. We were with a Navajo group that we worked very closely with. We were with an African group that we were very, very involved with. And my photography and videography always became a major part of that experience. My professional career took off. It just goes on to say I learned graphic design, which was very important. Videography has been very important. I've been involved with the hospice communities, taking pictures of people that were dying. It was very sad. I did infant deaths. I did, family deaths. It was really, really hard for me to do that, but it meant a lot to them. I've also been doing videography for the Wentzville Historical Society, recording the history of people that started our community. Well, didn't start it, but they lived in the early 1900s in our community of Wentzville. Wentzville has grown so rapidly, people don't even know the history. So with them, I've been able to make 27 interview videographs or videos so that we can save that history. So that's been very meaningful to me as well. So 20 years of digital has been exciting. but it also has been exhausting, as you all know. And these are just a few samples of some things that I did professionally. I started doing weddings with studios in the Wentzville and the St. Louis area, and then I started doing them on my own as well. I started traveling and doing a lot of landscape, a lot of architecture, and sharing those things. I started working with, as I told you, a nonprofit in Rwanda. Got very, very, very involved with them, and did a lot of marketing for them. And then in 2001, no, I think it was in 2020, actually, I was in Yosemite Park hiking with all my camera gear, you know, all my different lenses, everything, so I could capture every single moment. And I just kind of had a major meltdown. I realized, gosh, Debbie, you're missing it because you're trying to capture it. And as we were riding our bikes past Ansel Adams Museum there in Yosemite, I told the girls, I said, why don't you guys go on? I want to spend a couple hours here alone. So I went in there, and I tell you, I almost started crying because his magic has always been so important to me. And, you know, I learned the zone method of exposure earlier, but I hadn't been using it. I was being lazy and using all the digital products that were available to me. And I realized that I really needed to slow down a little bit. So that was a moment when I decided I need to get my darkroom. That's going to solve that problem, you know? So when I saw that Best Missouri Hands had a professional grant development or professional development grant, I thought, gosh, I really would love to apply for that. And it was a perfect match for me in what I wanted to do with the portraits. So you can see the arrow has now switched and I have gone from digital back to analog. And boy, what a journey this has been. I started during COVID, I started doing a lot of research. I was able to buy some vintage cameras that are becoming my best friends. And this one over here was the one that I used all throughout, you know, my life growing up. And you can see it's got a couple of dents. I've dropped it down several mountains, but I still use it. And so I had to learn how to use these cameras, and I didn't even know how to load them. I mean, it was like, I don't even know what kind of film it needs. So that was a big learning curve. And I read somewhere that you should really shoot 100 rolls of film before you start in your darkroom. And that was very expensive, but I did it. I mean, I'm probably on my 50th roll right now. And then I, throughout that time, was able to research darkroom equipment. I set up an area in my basement. It's a huge mess, but it works. And then when I started to do it, I thought, oh, I'm just going to jump right in there. I'm going to develop. Well, I had my film developed by, it's called the Darkroom out in California. And then I started using Schiller's here in St. Louis. So I don't develop my film, because if you mess up your film, you're in trouble. So I let them develop it, and then I'm just going to do the prints. So I tried to get started, but I just couldn't. And everything went wrong with my enlarger, and I finally found someone to help me. And then I realized I needed professional help, not just mentally, but professionally. So I found a lady who, her name is Lynn Schaff. She's a member of Crossroads Arts Council, and she worked her whole career in the darkroom. So she knew a lot. And she was very humble and came to my rescue. She helped me set up. You can see my darkroom's not very pretty, but it's nice. I like it. And Lynn helped me get my enlarger working. Another photographer named David Hasty helped me get my enlarger aligned so it would actually work. And then throughout the past several months, Lynn and I have actually worked on getting some prints made. And she's taught me the importance of contact strips or test strips and contact sheets, and how important it is to analyze those to help me become a better shooter. So that once I get into the darkroom, I have better film to work with, better negatives, deeper subject matter, deeper details, better light, because you can't fix things in the darkroom. Now in digital, you can kind of fix them, as we all know, but if you've got a bad resolution, you can't fix that. So now that I'm into film, I really have to concentrate on my shooting more so. So that's where I am right now. And I'm sorry I don't have a show to show you yet, but I will. So my goals right now are, oh, by the way, I spent $2,500 on my darkroom alone, and I'm continuing to spend more money, but to me, it's going to be worth it. I feel at home in the darkroom. I love it. I just have a lot to learn. So I'm going to continue to learn from Lynn. She's offered her help. It's hard for me to call her, but the other night I called her at 7:30 at night and she said, I'll be right there. And by golly, she was. And we worked till about 11 o'clock that night, getting problems solved. I am going to continue taking pictures with the vintage cameras that I have. And when I say vintage, they're like 80s. To me, that's not vintage, but it's 40 years, you know. One of them is Rolleiflex that came back. It's from the late 40s, early 50s. That's truly vintage. So I'm going to try to use that one as well. And I need to get back into Ansel Adams and Fred Archer's zone method. I really need to get in my brain because, as I said, the digital cameras pretty much did a lot for me. And I really want to then start to visit artists. I've made contact with quite a few artists who do what I consider heritage arts. And unfortunately, as you all know, we're losing those arts because the younger generations don't want to take them on as much because they're a lot of work. And I want to begin to visit their studios, whether they're outside or inside or whatever, and just take some time to get to know them. And then what I would love to do is to reach a level where I can begin taking professional quality portraits on black and white film and shoot them either on RC paper or maybe even fiber paper. That would be pretty cool. And then my final collection would be where I would love to have a show to show the portraits and a little bio of those heritage artists. I can't give a date on when that'll happen because I don't know what my journey will look like. So that's about it. But I really want to thank the Best of Missouri Hands, because if it wasn't for you guys, I would have never started this venture. I would have saved a lot of money and probably spent it on a trip. But it was a real goal in my life, and I do appreciate your help. So if you have any questions, that'd be awesome.
Well, it looks like you've had quite a journey, Debbie, and I'm excited to see where this all ends up and stuff, but so tickled to be part of Best Missouri Hands, and that you were given this opportunity with this grant. It looks like you've taken full advantage of it, and you know, that's what we want to see, is people being able to you know, forward their career in the arts and stuff like that. And it looks like that's exactly what you're doing. So
yeah, well, I appreciate it. I sometimes get into a rush and I want things to happen right away. And I was hoping to have a show within a year, but that's not going to happen. But I think it's best that I really take my time and slow down and get to learn the art the art of film photography again. So I'll let y'all know when I do have
oh, definitely. Yeah, we'll post it for you and stuff. And one place too that you could check with, I could get you in touch with Jane at the Ethical Society in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because their shows, they try to focus on things that you know, have a story. They have a story to tell. They make an impact on the community, the environment, or whatever and stuff. And with you focusing on the heritage arts, I think the Ethical Society would be a great place to show. That's not to say you can't have multiple shows and stuff, but I think that would be a real good fit for you.
You know, Kim, I would love to get her contact. Anyway, because I have when we went to Rwanda, we studied in the forgiveness villages there that dealt with the forgiveness of their genocide. And I have video and I have footage. That would be probably a really good show to have there as well. It's on
Yeah.
right now at the Crossroads Arts Council Gallery. My photos are there until the end of August.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's excellent. Have you posted about that? Have you
Not very
shared that
much.
on
I'm really
social
bad
media?
about, I'll post it. I'm really bad about marketing myself. I'm terrible.
I-
But I will. I'll
Well,
post that on the
definitely.
West Missouri Hands. Yeah.
Yes, please do. And you know, anytime that, I mean, this goes for any of our artists. When you've got an event like that or any kind of news to share, you know, feel free to post it on the members only page.
Okay.
So our other members can see it and stuff. Wake me up, make sure I have seen it and stuff. You know, you can send me an email or whatever, because I can also put that in the newsletter.
Okay.
You know, there's just so many ways that we can help get that word out for you. So if you just say, hey, Kim, you know, I've got
Okay.
this going on, I can get it shared to our main page and stuff like that. And so,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll do that.
definitely take advantage. I mean, if you're wanting to get more eyes on your work and,
Mhm.
you know, we can help with that.
I will do that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can you
Does
talk a little
anybody
bit
have
more about
questions?
can you talk a little bit more about the zone method?
The zone method is understanding, the gray card is the neutral exposure of a scene. And first of all, you have to learn where to set that gray card. It's actually just a small gray card. And I think it's a 18% gray, or it's in the 18% area. And that's where you have an equal amount of darks and lights. And so when you're shooting a subject, you want to find an area that has dark and lights in it and no extreme light, but it is a true area where you have the blend of the darks and the lights. So you set your gray card down, and then you use a light meter and you aim it right at that gray card. And then what you get is an exposure that would be just enough whites and just enough grays to give you the depth of what you need in your film, but very little contrast. So when you're shooting, you want to get contrast, but you also want to get depth of details. So you do something called bracketing, where you bracket for the lows and you bracket for the highs and you bracket for the gray card. Now, Ansel Adams could just look at a subject and realize what you should shoot at, but what he was also a master at is to show the magic of the light at that particular moment of time, but also not lose your contrast. So it sounds very simple, but it's extremely complicated. And I've used a whole roll of film on one subject just to find that zone thing. And the lady that I'm working with now, she's really good at it, but when she explains it to me, she just loses me. So until I actually get out there and do it and then print them and see how my prints turn out, that's where a contact sheet's really important. That's what's going to teach me how to be a better shooter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
What was your biggest obstacle? Because I always used to shoot film too until I flipped my kayak and I fried my camera.
Oh no.
And so I went to
Yeah.
so I went to digital. I got a waterproof digital camera.
Oh, good.
And but what was your biggest obstacle, you think, in going from film to digital for you?
Well, I think the language was totally different because it was all technical terms. And when you're trying to learn online, you get all these people that talk above you instead of to you. and you try to find video classes or whatever, and they move so fast that you can't absorb what you're trying to do. And as always, you need to learn as you're doing it. So I started out with not with a full frame camera, but with a smaller, oh, I can't even think of the word right now I'm looking for, but it was a cheaper camera that was easier to shoot with, but it didn't have all the gadgets that these guys, mostly guys, were talking about. And I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. So I did upgrade a little bit with photography, but I just had to get out there and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And fortunately, it didn't cost as much as film. And then when I got into all the Adobe products, I started slow with Lightroom. And I really loved that because that was kind of like being in my darkroom, only it was with color. You know, I could zoom that contrast up and I could zoom the highlight, and I'm like, wow, it was like a kid at, you know, Six Flags, because it was so exciting at the time. But then I realized to get a good shot, you couldn't over manipulate because it would look so fake, you know.
Right.
But I just took a lot of classes and just kept experimenting. And even with black and white digital, you have to make sure it's the right exposure and everything. So.
Okay. And are you aware that like Best Missouri Hands has artists that do traditional arts? You know, like we have soap makers that are juried artists,
Yeah, that's
blacksmiths.
yeah.
You know, like Annie, she's a fiber artist, but she does a different variety of work than you know, than what you commonly think of for fiber artists and stuff like that. So I hope that you will, you know, tap into some of the Best Missouri Hands artists for your project too and stuff. We could definitely, if you go onto the website, you could search artists through there, or you could always contact myself or anybody on the board, and we'd be able to help point you in the direction of, you know, some artists that might be of interest to you for your project.
Well, I think you're a fantastic resource. And just from what little I've met of some of the artists, I realize, you know, I call them heritage artists, but what'd you call them, Kim? There was another term that you used.
If we use
I did.
traditional.
Okay, I could,
Traditional. Thank you.
yeah. I think that's a wonderful idea. And then I will certainly seek your help when it comes to where I feel comfortable doing that. And I could travel to wherever they are and set up, I think it would be best if I set up a personal time with them so I could actually take time to get the best exposures. And
Yeah.
I would love to have a finished product of 11 by 14 portrait instead of an 8 by 10. That's what I'm working with right now. And it would, I'm sure they would enjoy getting a copy of that 11 by 14 for their own personal collection. So yeah, maybe in the next year that's going to happen. I definitely think it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will, because that's absolutely. That's what you know, we've had several artists that have, you know, worked down in Silver Dollar City, you know, during their fall festival, you know, so they're set up, you know, for could be 2 weeks, could be 6 or 8 weeks or whatever and stuff like that. But I think they'd be good resources to tap into, because they're more of the hand building ceramics or whatever, thrown on the wheel and stuff like that. And but yeah, I like your project, and I've seen some of your people portraits and I think they're gorgeous.
Thank you.
So
yes, I think
yeah,
this fall
I'm excited.
I might be at the point where I could actually meet some of them yet this fall and just take some photos with some of my cameras. I did that with some of the artists in the Smoky Mountains. I did a series of videos of them. They weren't black and white film though, but I love talking to those people and hearing what they know, because we miss that in our society. So yeah, you know, if you know of something that's going to happen, if you could email me the event and the date, I would definitely try to include that this fall. I may not get the prints until next spring, because I may not be good enough
Right.
until then, but a shooting, I think I could handle that. I might cheat a little bit with my digital camera to get the best exposure. And then use my black and white camera. That would be cheating, wouldn't it?
You know what? I don't, you know what you've got in your head, what you want to do and accomplish. And so I say, do however you're wanting to do things. So
Yeah,
I'm
they're all
not gonna,
tools.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So now, you got all those different cameras. I didn't even know you could buy film anymore.
Oh, yeah, you can buy it. Schiller sells it. You can buy it
Okay.
online, B&H, darkroom out in California. It's harder to find somebody that will develop the film for you.
Okay.
But yeah, oh, there's, I think there's a trend that's moving back to film.
Mm.
I really do. A lot of the younger kids, think it's pretty cool to do that. And I know a man in Macomb, Illinois, that is the most fantastic black and white film photographer. I don't know him, that Tim Schroll is his name, but he does beautiful, beautiful work. So he's,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna ever go away.
Okay.
I don't think we'll
I
lose
just
that.
know, yeah, you just don't see it in like the regular stores anymore,
No,
so
no.
I didn't know you could, but that's good to know that you still can,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely know that shooting with film is what helped develop my eye, because I got my first camera when I was 10 and my mom made me pay for my film and to have it developed. And so I was very selective of what I
Yeah.
took pictures of.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for, all the years I did have film and stuff, because now when I shoot digital, I don't just, take a dozen shots and see what's best in that. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
I things up. So there definitely is a big difference in stuff.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever tried, I'm working on trying to make digital negatives. Have you ever tried creating digital negatives?
No, I don't know even what that is.
It's actually taking your digital image and printing it, inverting and printing it onto a film. And then you can work it with salt prints, cyanotypes, and all sorts of things. And they lay right on top of the special paper, and then you expose it. And if you use a digital, and that way you can take digital images and do something similar to what you're doing with your film and in the darkroom. But because I'm a digital girl only. There's no way that Carol and chemicals should be in the same room at this juncture in
I would love to come and learn from you.
life.
I know Sally Vickman, one of my weaver friends, has some scion fiber prints. Is it called scion or
Cyanotype.
Cyanotype, yeah.
Yes,
cyanotype?
it's a light sensitive paper or fabric, because there's
Oh,
fabric is there's actually a cyanotype fabric. I just ordered some, so I'm going to work on trying to create my first cyanotype on fabric.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I should connect you. I should connect you with Sally Vickman. I'm hanging one of her shows here.
Cool.
the next
I'm
couple
good. I'm just, and I have to say, in your presentation, use word the clueless. You need to add the word fearless. It's
Or
true.
maybe stupid. I don't know which one it is, but
It's true, because I picked up a camera at 53 and I had to teach myself everything from the ground like you did, because I just knew that I couldn't do analog. But in order to go to the next level and try things, you just have to make yourself completely fearless.
oh, I love your work. I'm
Right,
seeing
there
your
we
work
go.
right now. Wow,
That's
Karen,
my first, those are my first test prints.
oh, what's your last name, Carol?
Estes, ESTES.
Okay.
Those are the black and whites, those are the negatives. And then they go face down, print side down onto the paper, and they're inverted. And then when you lift them up, then you dip them in water and flush the chemicals off and let them dry. And
Oh my gosh, that is,
the skeleton had no, I was working the contrast, but this is a bronze statue in Chicago. And I went back and redid the digital negative for contrast and improved it greatly. So that's my.
that's
first
beautiful.
design. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, but like I said, going from one step to the word fearless is the only way to describe it, because you just have to jump in regardless of what you know or don't know.
I think as artists, we do that, don't we? Because that's how we become who we are.
Well, I have friends that ask me how I could but I just tell them, you just do it.
Yeah, the first step is hard.
Yeah, if failing is not an option, because even if you get to a certain point, but there's no failure. It's just a different step in that direction. So that's right.
Thank you.
That's all I know.
Thanks. That was encouraging for me, because I feel like I dabble too much in too many different arts, and I don't focus and get really good at any one thing. But
I suffer from a squirrel syndrome. So all my friends at BOMH, they all understand, because I do. Anybody tries a technique to do something even outside of photography, Carol is in on it.
we're all a little nutty then, because we do the same thing. Thanks for those words, Carol. I appreciate that. Are you related to Sarah Estes?
I'm
muted,
not that I
Carol.
know of.
Okay.
It's my maiden name, and I grew up in Kansas City, but there are Esteses all over
Yeah. Okay.
Central Missouri. So,
All right. My husband teaches with her. So
Debbie, where
Uh-huh.
can I find one of your portraits that I could, where can I find one of your portraits that I can show everybody? Or do you have something on your computer that you could bring up?
let me look into
'Cause
my black and white.
Portraits are really-
Am I still on? Did I lose-
I can set you, yeah.
All right, let me see if I've got anything in my black and white folder. Oh, I've got a really cool portrait of a guy making coffee. Let me look real quick.
Okay. Yeah, because I love your people portrait.
Oh, I know
I
where
think
would
people are
find
hard
it.
to photograph.
Yeah, they really, really are. I might
Yeah.
have to put another. Where's one of my? Do we have a moment, or do I need to?
Yeah, you got, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's
While
see if
Debbie's
maybe my website. My website might find one.
While
me
Debbie's
look.
looking, I just wanted to point everybody to the chat. Annie put some links in there related to traditional craft groups, and that might be of interest to some of you to join.
Oh, I see
Yeah,
yeah.
these are the ones we have on that are the juried members
Okay.
on our website. And I mean, people do traditional crafts in the wood group and in the fiber group and all throughout, but we have a traditional craft section of our website. And then some of them end up in the other group on our website if we don't know what to do with them. So
I always have trouble with the distinction between craft and art. We have many members in our Crossroads Arts Council, and they'll say, I'm not an artist, I just do crafts. And in actuality, they are artists because their crafts are so original. And they've taken the material and they've done something totally different with it. And I keep saying, you are an artist. You are an artist. They're like, oh no, I just do crafts. So how do you explain the difference to someone?
I tend to not. I think it's all, I don't know that the distinction is necessary. I mean, I think I don't know, like art tends to have meaning behind it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff that I make, the meaning is to look pretty or to look happy. And I think that's a valid reason. I don't think that makes it any less arty than someone trying to communicate the suffering of the world. That's just not the way, that's not the art that I make.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it's a thorny issue and people can get offended and not offended, and I steer clear, I think, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an image on my website, if I can go real quick to it and share
Yeah.
it. Let's see. It's not, it's okay. I don't think it's on my Best of Missouri Hands.
Um, Let me see.
I have
Wanda,
one of a,
do you know? I don't know.
I have let me find, I'm sorry.
Try it again. Try it again, Debbie. See
Okay,
if it'll let you
I've got
share
it up.
now.
There was let's see if it'll come up. Come on. Come on. All right, here it is.
You'll
Okay,
need
can I
to go down to the bottom and hit share screen. It
okay.
should let you.
Where am I? Oh, here I am. I got so much open on my. Let's see, where is my screen then? What am I doing? Can you see my screen?
No.
All right, here it is right here. So
Okay.
this is, I would call this a portrait. Even though it doesn't show his face, it shows who he is, what he's doing. He's a bartender in Creede, Colorado. It was on the 4th of July. He was pissed because he had partied all night and he had to work all day during 4th of July where they were super busy. And I captured that moment with that flag wrapped around his shoulder. He had a disgusting look on his face. He had his cowboy hat. He kept tipping it down so he didn't have to look at people. And I said, do you mind if I take your portrait? And he goes, go for it. And I did. And this is what came up. And I love it. I really, really love it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do. And I've got another one, which I can't
Yeah.
find right now, but it's I'll put it on my Best of Missouri Hands slide or a page. It's a portrait of a man also in Colorado working a coffee machine, one of those big coffee machines, and the steam's coming and he's doing all that. And you can see him, he's all tatted up and everything, you know, but he's so focused on getting that coffee just perfect. I really love that portrait as well. So those are the things that I like to do.
Yeah. Well, it's excellent. And I think anybody that gets the opportunity to work with you on your project, I think will be thrilled. So
Thank
you're
you.
doing a good thing.
Thanks, you
Yeah.
guys.
You know,
Doing a good thing.
a couple of other contexts for you, Debbie, once you get your project to the point, I would think that Missouri Arts Council would be very interested in it once you've got your theme and you're ready for it to be public. I
Oh,
would also think somebody's got to help me. The radio person in Columbia, I can never remember her name without looking it up.
Diana Moxon.
Yeah.
and
So
she
she would
promotes-
probably love
And-
to, yeah, she would love to interview you and promote you when you
Oh.
have a show.
I turn beat red when I get
Yeah.
interviewed. Yeah. Nervous
It's
second.
radio. It's radio.
Oh,
They won't
great. I
see
got a
you.
face for radio.
podcast,
Yes,
I guess.
Missouri, don't they
Yeah,
have a
there's
folk art?
also
Doesn't Missouri Arts Council have folk art council as well? Folk
think
artists
they
in
do.
Missouri?
yes.
Yeah.
The Missouri Folk Art. It might be a different entity.
Yes, I think
it's
they
a
are.
different organization.
Yes.
But
Okay.
yeah, and then also too, Pat, who's on this video workshop, she was just interviewed by what Pat, what is the TV show again? It's Making?
Making on KMOS, PBS.
Yeah. That might be someone worth contacting and
Roy
you
Roy
know.
Million. It's his last name is Millen, Roy Millen. And he's the
Okay.
one that does the setting, setting it up for, getting people, calling people, and he does the videography of it.
Okay, cool. Tell me your name again.
Pat, and the last name is Berkbigler. It's Berkbigler.
Okay.
Yeah, and Pat's episode will air this fall. I think we have 4 Best Missouri Hands artists that were recently videoed for a segment on making. So Pat will be on this fall.
What's your
And
medium?
then that
Pat?
link and everything will get shared.
Okay. Cool. What's your medium, Pat?
Gourd art.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, she'd be a good one too, because that's, you
Yeah.
know, heritage or traditional, you
Yeah.
know, so yeah, we got, we can definitely help you out if you're looking, you know, for any subject matter.
Well, now I'm getting
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
excited. You're helping me get over the fear of well, you say I'm fearless. I'm really not, but you're helping me get over that hump of thinking that I'm clueless. Because now I'm excited about it. Now I really want to push forward. I'm over the drudgery of getting it all together and the expense and everything. And my shots may not be perfect when I get them done, but as long as they tell the story, that's really what I care about. Working with a specialist has made me nervous because she's a perfectionist, and
Mhm.
she analyzes all of my work, and I get kind of depressed about that. I'm sure you all have those feelings, right? And what she doesn't understand is I want to capture the story of it, not so. She goes, "Oh, you're into photojournalism too much," which is true. But it's good to
Well,
know.
that's
both.
part of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of you though. So,
Yeah.
you know, you got to stay true to yourself. It's nice to have an expert come in and help you out on things and stuff, but when it's all said and done, you've got to stay true to you and your art and stuff. So that's.
Well, thank you for those words.
But-
This is what I needed today. This is really what I needed. So thank you all so
Debbie-
much.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
Debbie, another thought, when you get to the point where maybe you're looking for a specific type of artist or, you know, something specific, you can go out and post in Best of Missouri Hands members only and say, do you know anybody that does whatever it is you're looking for? People are very helpful in that group. That's probably one of my favorite groups from a helpfulness perspective. There's always someone who will respond, give you another contact, get you down the road on whatever you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the best things of this organization is that everybody's willing to share. It's not not
Absolutely.
competitive. It's all about enriching and sharing. Yeah. Cool.
And I have a question for you. For someone who maybe is now inspired by your experience of getting a grant, do you have any words of wisdom on them applying? Like, I think sometimes people sit back and say, what I'm asking for isn't that good, or
Yeah.
whatever reason, just don't initiate. Do you have any words or of inspiration to inspire somebody for next year?
Yeah, I would go back to what Kim said about following your heart. You know, you know what you want to do, you just don't know how to get there. And for me, it wasn't so much the money, and not that I'm rich, I'm definitely poor, but it was more about the guidance and the organizational structure of starting. Because when you have to present your proposal, you really have to think it out and organize it and go from the big picture down to the smaller picture, go from a big aperture down to a smaller aperture. And I would just tell people that if they have a desire to go to the next step or try a new step, to go ahead and apply, no matter who they are, no matter what their medium is, because whatever level of professionalism you're at, growth is exciting. Growth is necessary to become, you know, who you were meant to be. Those sound kind of wise, but
that's
I
excellent.
don't know. It just, yeah.
Well, and just for the others that are on this here right now, the grant application is on the Best Missouri Hands website. It is open now for next year's recipients and stuff. So anybody on here would like to go on and fill out the application or get a look at it and see what kind of questions are being asked. But you can buy equipment like Debbie has done, take a workshop. If you need to buy tools, I know that Sherry Phillips bought a bunch of wood carving like tools for her and her husband with their grant money. I know Lainey Frick won a couple years ago. She took a workshop with a prestigious artist that she'd always wanted to and stuff. So there's different ways you can utilize the money if it's something to help you advance your art career. And so there's no reason not to apply, you know, whether you're rich or poor, doesn't matter. You know, that's what Best Missouri Hands has the money set aside for this grant to help our artists. So, and like Debbie said, doesn't matter what level you are at and stuff. So feel free to go online and
I will definitely share it too.
check
Yeah.
that application out. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Good.
well, has anybody else got any questions for Debbie while we've got her? Because this has been very informative, Debbie.
Thank you.
You did a fantastic job, and you know, I'm very excited for you that you're taking the ball and running, and we're excited to see what's going to come of it and stuff. So it already looks like you've been getting some stuff done. So
Good.
we
Well, thank you.
appreciate you taking your time today and sharing with us. Yeah.
Thanks to all of you for helping me. So, and the resources that I'm getting from you and the contacts are going to be extremely helpful. So thank you very much.
Mm.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, like Wanda said, tap into the Best Missouri Hands to the member only page, or reach out to anybody on, you know, in Best Missouri Hands and stuff, like Carol. You know, she's a fellow photographer and stuff, and she sounds like she's doing some things that you're interested in, and you're probably doing things she's interested in and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, utilize your fellow members, you know.
Will
'cause,
do. I definitely will
we all
do.
like to learn and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Any last words, Debbie?
Oh, no. I think I've talked enough.
Okay, well, thank you. All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
thank
Have a
you,
great
everybody,
day.
for joining us today. Yeah.
Okay,
And,
bye.
it has been recorded, so it'll be on
Okay.
YouTube. All
Okay,
right,
wonderful.
have a
Thank
good
you. I
day.
appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.